Welcome to Cowboy Logic. I'm Lee Hart. On today's episode, we're going to walk you through how I would introduce obstacles for the first time. We're going to set 3 different obstacles out, and we're going to show you the progression of how I would ride them to help build confidence in a young horse. Then we're also going to go and check back in on Thug.
Howdy folks, it's time to saddle up for a brand new television series called Cowboy Up, a celebration of the American cowboy. Our show will feature the very finest in Western musicians and cowboy poets for your enjoyment. We'll explore Western music, meet these performers up close and personal, and enjoy their performance of music and rhyme. This is Cowboy Poet Laureate Ron Wilson inviting you to join me as we cowboy up. Happy trails.
When we start to introduce obstacles to new horses that haven't been around them, or a horse that has a lack of confidence, I think it's really important that the horse has an out, that he has a place that he can go to help him start developing confidence and let him know that we need forward motion to complete these obstacles. So this obstacle I have set up here, it's a real simple deadfall, and I've created a space to the right of it here where I'm going to flow this horse through here and allow him to look at this a little bit before I ever cross it. So when I'm thinking about a horse, I'm always thinking that they do things in rhythm, and I want to start developing his confidence in being around this obstacle. I don't really want him looking at it, but I want to get him to where I can get him flowing through here. Too often I've seen at these clinics that people pick out the biggest, wildest obstacles, and that's what they want to concentrate on. So what I'm looking for is, before I even go over this obstacle, is I want this horse to flow through here and make sure I'm applying a release on the back side of the obstacle. Now as I come through here, I've got my legs on, I pick my hand up and I just help him through here a little bit, and then I just relax. So I've floated him through here 3 or 4 times. He's really confident. So now I'm just going to ask him to go over it. But I'm going to do it a little different. I know I have him confident on the back side of the obstacle. So as I get to the back side, now I'm just going to turn him to it and come across it. Just because a bridge has a spot that you think you need to enter on, I personally like to get my horses entering and leaving all of these different things at a lot of different angles. So you can see he was really confident going through there that second time. Now I'm just going to introduce it for the first time and ask him to do it the long ways. I'm just going to bring him back to a walk, legs on, eyes up. And it's really important as we're riding these obstacles, keep that chin up, your shoulders over your hips. That way you're not leaning forward and pushing him forward with your legs. We're going to bring Allison in here now, and we're going to give you a second view of how we'd introduce an obstacle on another horse. So as Allison comes up here, she's going to flow to the back side of the obstacle. And say this horse got troubled as it was on the back side, forward is the answer. So what Allison needs to do is just add a little more leg and let that horse move forward. And when the horse gets past the obstacle, then she needs to relax a little bit. My horse actually hasn't been around obstacles very much. He's been a ranch horse most of his life. Allison's horse has been around some obstacles and has had quite a little training, but unfortunately she had a setback in there and she got really reactive. So this is one of the first days we've came back after trying to develop her confidence and start helping her along. So when you're sure that she's kind of flowing through there, just come across the center just like that. Really nice. Another time or two, and then we'll lengthways across it. You're doing a really nice job. We have to remember that this is our idea, not the horse's idea. We want these horses to cross these things, so it's our responsibility to be there for our horse and help our horse. It's always up to us to help these horses through their problems. So as she comes through this time, you can see that horse's ears go forward just a little bit. The head came down. She licked and she chewed. She's showing pretty relaxed right now. So go ahead and go across it lengthways now. As she gets her prepared, she's going to spread her hands out low and wide, both legs on, ride to the end of it, now release. Take your legs off and really reward her. Let's get through it one more time. It's really important for us to always think about where we're applying our releases. As we come up to this, say this horse said no, we need to close the door left, we need to close the door right, and we need to close the door backwards. Forward is the answer. We do that by spreading our hands out wide and bringing both legs onto our horse. When we come back, we'll continue to work with more obstacles, and we'll start showing you how I'd introduce a bridge for the first time.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas.
All right, so now we're going to move on to a simple flat bridge. We're going to introduce it in exactly the same way. I've left enough space on the back side here to flow this horse around. If he went to really look at that, I'd just add more leg and push him over it. I want it to be a lot more about this horse moving forward than it is about what's in his path. There needs to be enough confidence in me with this horse that when I ask him to move forward, he moves forward. So if he trots through there, that's wonderful. So I'm just walking around here. It's important as you're introducing these obstacles to make sure and keep it quiet and easy. And if they get a little bothered, don't match their energy. Don't let that rattle you. You just stay calm and sit up there and keep presenting the same cues. So just like we did with the deadfall before, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to ride a little closer to it. I'm going to turn him across. Now some things that can happen is he can fall over it like he just did right there, absolutely. And that's perfectly acceptable. You noticed I left my reins really loose for him once he engaged. I didn't want to get in his way. Another thing that could happen is he could jump it. There he goes. I'm just going to ask him to walk over it a couple times. That one was better. The time before, it kind of got snuck up on him. It was a change of level. He wasn't really paying attention to it, and that's okay. But I just want to, you notice his ears are forward, and he's really approaching it with some confidence. So now I'm just going to come from lengthways. I'm going to spread them hands out low and wide, eyes up, shoulders back, get him between my legs. When I'm sure he's going to complete it, you can see my legs relaxed there. I'm going to give him a release. Reach down and rub him and let him know he's doing a good job. Now, he's doing a wonderful job on these obstacles today. He just come off the ranch. He's a 7-year-old gelding. His name's Diesel. He's been working for a living, and this is the first day he's really seen any obstacles. So, do I think this horse will go on and make an obstacle horse? Absolutely. You like this quiet, easy demeanor he's got? I'm going to come up again, hands wide, legs on, eyes up. When I'm sure he's completed it, relax and release. We're going to bring Allison in here now. We're going to have her present it just like I did off of Diesel here. So as you come up here, just stay focused, looking ahead. Set up there real big and pretty, and just let your horse relax and enjoy it. Each time you flow through there, move a little closer to that bridge if you can. And you can see now, she's still pretty good with it, but you can see in her body she's getting a little bit more rigid. She's not 100% sure. And that's okay. That's up to Allison to help her through that at this point. So we'll flow through there one more time, and then we'll come across the center. You're doing a great job of staying quiet up there. Your hands are really quiet and nice. And that's what we're looking for as we're presenting these obstacles for these horses. So this time, about the time you get to the center of that bridge, just turn your horse to the left. Big release now. Yeah. And just turn and come right back through. You notice we're going over this bridge or any of these obstacles multiple times. We want to get these horses through these obstacles enough time to start building confidence. The first time, they're kind of starting to get the idea. The second time, they're realizing everything that's going on. The third time, they're saying, hey, that's that bridge I just crossed. They're starting to get some confidence. I can cross this. And by the fourth time you bring a horse to that obstacle, if you've presented it right, they're getting pretty confident. And you could see right there, she knew what the answer was, and she actually wanted to go to it pretty aggressively that time. And nothing wrong with that. We'll go over it one more time, make sure she stays with you, and then we'll go at it from lengthways. Now, say we were having a little more trouble getting our horses over these obstacles. It all goes back to pressure and release, guys. Apply pressure till you get forward movement, and then release. She doesn't have to be perfect there. Something to really remember on bridges is if they come off of it, it is too late at that stage to put them back on it. Don't risk the chance of causing your horse to slip or fall on a bridge. That will destroy their confidence, and it'll be something you're having to deal with for quite a while. This time when you come up to it, Allison, you need more right leg. You're opening the door to the right and your horse is falling to the right, so support her a little bit more with your right leg. When we come back, I'm going to show you how we would approach a water box for the first time.
This is one of my favorite bits that I make. The name I give this bit is a derby bit. I had a roan head horse that was running through the bridle with the chain bit, and I made this bit here. It really worked good on that horse. I sent this bit to Donnie McNeese, who breaks in cattle for Jeff Smith and Ike Cox, and I said, ride this bit on a lot of horses, see how you get along with it. They did. He said, Bull, that's really a good bit. Fits a lot of horses. Then I give this bit to my good friend Brent Wright, who I make bits for. And I said, see how this bit will work on a reining horse. I call him up a couple months later. I said, Brent, how you getting along with that bit? And he said, good. He said, you don't need it right this minute, do you? And I said, no. He said, good, because I'm down here in Texas and I just won a big futurity riding that bit. And when Brent got home, he gave me the buckle that he won the futurity with. I'm really proud of that buckle that Brent Wright gave it to me, and also that he got along so good with my bit.
Trust and leadership are critical to success at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center in Manhattan. Just ask Coach Bill Snyder.
People of the Regenerative Center do care about others. I've been highly impressed with those people that have that vested interest and try to help people become better. The center really is a wonderful thing here in Manhattan, first of its kind, and we're on the cutting edge of what lies ahead.
Find out more about the trusted leader in stem cell therapy at kansasrmc.com. Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
One of the biggest issues I see with obstacle horses is people are having trouble with water boxes, and typically it's because of how they went about introducing a water box for the horse. I've got a little black water box here in front of us. We've set it up just like the other obstacles that are in this segment, and we're going to flow between the wall and the obstacle here. So as I'm flowing through there, if he goes to look at it or glance at it, I'm going to bring my legs on him and bring his attention back to me even more. I don't want to let my horses get in a habit of really looking around. I want my horse to think about where I'm driving him to and where we're at. It's up to me in this relationship to help this horse through it. Every time I let him start gawking around, I'm letting this horse take control of his feet. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants me to be a good leader for him. And he says, I will be an amazing follower. But when we start asking them to be the leaders, they start finding trouble. So I don't want to allow him to find that trouble. So as I turn him across here this time, big release. He's doing an amazing job. He should. He's spent his life on the ranch, and he's crossed creeks and ditches and all of those things and actually earned a living. But that doesn't mean it'll always go that way. You can see he's stepping through really confident. I wouldn't have started with this obstacle by no means, but I'm really glad that he's saying, yes, I can do it. So you see, I spread my hands out wide, my legs are on, and I'm asking him through it. There we go. Big release to help him. And I would get this horse to where when I was coming to a water box on a dry one, that he's confidently going through it before I ever added water. And probably the first thing I'd add is like some cut up hoses and things like that. And I would take it in steps as I'm helping to build confidence in this horse. And after I'd added some hoses and he is flowing through it, then I would ask him to step through it with just a little bit of water, just enough to change the bottom of the water box, and just keep building up so you keep building confidence. That way you don't send him to something and instantly he says, I'm not able to do this. So you can see he's kind of flowing through. I might even enter here and come across, and he's just being real confident and good. And I can't gripe at him a bit. We're going to bring Allison over now. Her horse is a little more reactive than Diesel is, and we'll see how she goes about it. So if she comes through there and she really starts watching, bring your legs on her and push her forward. And then a big release on the backside. That was a really nice job. You can kind of tell that this horse is just a little more tense about it, but she's actually doing a really good job. Looking nice. So if you feel like she's relaxed this time, go ahead and turn across the center. As we're presenting these obstacles, we need to be prepared. As we turn them to it, if she needs to jump, she should be allowed to jump. But what's wonderful about obstacles, just by introducing the ground, the deadfall, and the bridge, and then coming to this water box, this dry box, we've already built confidence up in her, and she's trusting us right now. Trust is the key. They need to trust us enough to allow us to have control of their feet. You can see she's licking and chewing. I'd go ahead and I'd head straight through it. Now if we had come up here and we'd started presenting this and trying to make this happen, instead of allowing this horse time to process around this obstacle, we could have gotten a fight. And if there's one thing I can teach the general public out there, is avoid a fight at all cost. We do not want to fight with our horse. We redirect negative energy into positive energy. Let's do it one more time, Allison. That's looking really good. She's dropping her head, she's targeting, and when I say targeting, that means that she's knowing that that is the answer. She's starting to hunt the answers, and we want our horses hunting the answer. Not being afraid to make a mistake. Through mistakes comes success.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
In this episode, you're going to see how I would introduce a saddle and a pad to a colt and how I'd help him through that first time of being saddled. So as I go to introduce the pad, I'm just going to kind of put it in my hand. I'm just going to walk around and see if I can kind of get him curious about it, like right there. About the time he goes to touch it, I'm just going to step off again. Push that hip around and step off. There we go. And I'm just going to stop. See if it gets his attention. It did. Kind of let him rub on it, smell me a little bit. That's all good. I'm just going to start up here and start rubbing it on him. At first I'll be really quiet with it. I'll just rub him. If he went to move off, I'd redirect his hip, disengage it like I have been. I'm just going to rub on him. Let him know that that pad's not going to hurt him. I don't want to sneak at all. As I changed eyes there, he kind of jumped just a little bit. No big deal. Just going to rub it all over him. And then I'm going to start throwing it on him. I'll let it pound in the side, whatever I need to do. A lot of colts would be moving around more. If he was moving, I'd just keep pitching it at him until his feet came still. And then I'd remove the stimulus. I'd give him a release. But he's doing really, really good with that for not being saddled before. Colt seems to have a really good disposition, which I love about him. He takes things in stride. There we go. And really wants to please you. If he gets stuck there, I'll just help him. I'll move the hip again. You could kind of tell he knew he'd come up with the wrong answer there. I just don't want to be too critical of him when he makes a mistake. I want to let him figure out the right answers. I'll let him know, no, that's not right. And I'll help him through that problem. Now, as I come up here to throw the saddle to him, I'm just going to walk up here, kind of turn away from him. If he wants to sniff it, he can. I'll move out here a little bit, get a step or two. Rub him. When I go to put it up there, just smooth, all in one motion. And like here, I'm not going to start hurrying any more than I would if he was an old broke horse. I want to saddle him like I would if he'd been saddled his whole life. Get everything kind of lined out, move it around. If he went to throw a fit or something, I'd just drag it off, no big deal. Pitch the lead, put my stirrup up, reach under here. You notice when I reach under, I'll go with my arm closest and I keep my face and my shoulders forward. You don't want to bend over and reach with your left hand and put your face down there where them back feet could get it, in case he was a little more sensitive type of a colt. As I go to cinch here, keep my hand up like I would if I was getting on his back. I'm going to cinch it just a little bit, just enough that I know it won't get underneath his belly. And then right here is where I'm going to differ from some people, and that's fine. I want to help this colt as much as I possibly can. So as I get ready here, I'm going to ask for that hip. Move it. Disengage that hip. Now I'm going to point, step to the right, send the shoulders. Step him through there. Hip. I'm just going to work him around here a little bit. I don't want him to think that I've strapped something strange on his back and left him out there to figure it out on his own. I want to help him through it. I want him to realize it's not going to bite him and that everything's going to be okay. I'm here for him to be a positive influence and help him through his problems. A lot of times if you'd have just put that saddle on and kicked him out there, he'd have blew up and bucked. We don't want that. So now I'm going to go ahead and cinch him down. He's done a really good job. By leaving that a little bit loose, I allowed that saddle to kind of find its natural resting spot. And now I can cinch him down. I'm not quite to ride tight, but I've got it pretty snug on him. And then I'm just going to help him again. Move the hip. Step through, ask the shoulders. Move the hip. If he comes through there and he feels really, really stiff, redirect him again. Help him. You want him being pretty soft here. When he goes to pull on me, I redirect him. Just got to help him through here. It's his first time having one. We don't want him to think of it as something bad. You notice as I raised my hand there, he backed out of my space. That's a great thing. There we go. We ask him out into a trot. Hip. What I like is I'm not having to pick up that energy a whole lot. He made a mistake. I'll just point and step, send him out, ask for his hip. I'm going to pick up my flag and see if I can help him get a little more sensitive. So I'm going to point, I'm going to step that direction. I smooch to him. I want him just moving around a little more fluently around me. You can see he's kind of pulling just a little bit. That's no big deal. When I add that flag, I take it away. Push that hip forward. There we go. And get it off of him when he comes up with the right answer. All right, I'm going to redirect him. There we go. I'm going to send him off the other way. Point, step. Kind of licked and chewed there. I'm not just going to jump in his shorts and tell him, no, that's not okay. I'm going to let him make those mistakes. Right now, I've asked him to trot. He should stay trotting. All right, I'm going to start sending him between me and the fence now. It's a little tighter deal. See, he kind of wanted to rush that. That's okay. Send him between me and the fence. If I need to help him, I'll help him. Hip. You see, as I take that space down, he's a little more claustrophobic. That's okay. If I need to go backwards with him, I will. I'm going to push him forward. There we go. Point. And I can tell if this little area is claustrophobic, how do you think he's going to be when I put my legs around him? I'm just working on getting him to send by. Right there, he kind of gave me a step forward. He's shutting down a little bit. That's okay. We're going to run into problems. That's just part of it. I'm going to let him set and kind of process that for a second, kind of soak. Next time, you're going to see how I'll take my groundwork and transfer it into the saddle, and you'll get to see how I'll handle the first ride on this colt. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for shows, you can go to my website, leeharttraining.com, or you can send me a private message on Facebook. I hope that this show's been useful to you, and I hope you go out, get your horse, and give it a good old Cowboy Logic try.